Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending where you're living around the world. And I'm Roberto Ronzani of the Italian Institute of LGN. And here today we have as a speaker Christophe, a business unit director of a plant of Lincoln Electrics. Later he will explain you who is him and what his company is doing. Some notes in this moment. The first is that along the speech you cannot tell anything, but you can make questions. In the bottom line of the screen, you have a question and answer button, so you can make any question you want. I will gather all the questions at the end of the session. We can have some minutes to answer the questions. Second, comments. If you have some difficulties with the English language, you can use subtitles selecting your own language. Okay. So the moment I seems no other notes to give you. And so please, Christophe, you can start.
Okay, so thank you, Roberto, for your introduction and having me here. I will start sharing the presentation and just share a few words about me. So I work for Lincoln Electric, which is a company working in the welding industry, welding, cutting, automation. So a global leader in this type of activity. And I want today to speak about the activities that have been carried over by the plant that we have in Tuscany in Italy, which is a plant where we actually produce some consumables, so some welding wires for the welding industry. And here we talk about a site of 80 people, more or less, 60 direct operators, and the indirect staff about 20 persons. The production is mostly for European customers, so shipping from Italy to the different regions in Europe, and you can see the evolution of the volume. So what we have identified as a gap over the last years is that we were pretty long in implementing, changing, in making actions to improve the conditions, the performances, or to even react to deviation to the standard performances. So here you have two examples with almost 4 months in average to complete all the environmental health and safety actions, which we found was pretty long. And the other example that you have in the bottom graph is so we have lost productivity on every step of the process of the production process from 2021, and we were not able in the following 2 years to react to that and to get back to where we were before. So with that, we said, okay, let's think about what are the main reasons why we have this difficulty to react to this evolution. And we actually identified 2 main aspects. One was that we had over the last 5 years a lot of generational change with people retiring. And today, so we have more than 40% of the workforce that has less than 4 years of experience. And with that, it means that they have a reference of their performance, which is a little bit shorter compared to what the other people with more experience have lived over their career. And so they were not really comparing themselves to these higher performances. And the other aspect that today, when we started, so the change, we had a lot of elaboration to, I would say, make the data and collect the data and elaborate them. And so we were spending our time actually getting the report more than changing the situation to improve the numbers. Here you have a photo of the manual form that the operators have to fill on On each of the lines, we have more than 50 lines of production. So you imagine you have 50 paper like that every day to be elaborated. That was more or less 1 hour a day just for the elaboration, beside just filling the forms. And the other point that so we were spending our time there, and the other aspect that we were missing as well. So people to drive the change, to animate, to motivate people, to find the right people to have actions and to make so improvements. So when we combine all these things together, what we have defined that we need to improve the processes. And when I will talk about the changes that we have made, knowing that for each of the process that we have changed, clearly we had the people side of the equation. So we were spending time in training the people, and it was a lot of learning by doing. So we wanted people to do the things to learn from it and to give them feedback so they can improve. So one first thing that we have done at Safety is really our top priority was to work on the EHS part, where we have so spread the activity across the full staff. So at every level with so the operators becoming BBS observators, so behavior-based safety observers. So they were so making observation and rotating the observer every year. So we have 12 people every year out of the 60 people. So in 4 or 5 years, everyone has been in this position. Then we have the supervisor with their own checklist, and then the management. So this way, we were able to work really on the base of the safety pyramid and to so identified unsafe condition, unsafe behaviors, and not work only on the reactive part of the pyramid with the near misses or first aid. The other aspect that was important for us to improve, it's on the production and quality. You have seen the form that I've shared just some minutes ago. We have moved to a fully digitized solution with tablet online, getting the information from the production lines directly where it's possible, having some additional information filled by the operators directly in the system, which provide not only the capacity to have a quicker elaboration of the data, but actually to provide them direct feedback. You see in the bottom part of the slide, one of the large screens that we have in the plant where people, whether they are the operators or the supervisor, can see if they are or not performing per the standard. So if they are green or red, and then so we have a capacity to react immediately to the situation where we have deviations, which was something that we were not able to do before because it was more. So you get your form filled over the day, and then the day after you said, oh yeah, we missed the target, but it was done. You have no way to react to that. So that was one of the main changes that we have done. And as I said, it was coupled with teaching the people how to fill the information. And so every week we had a report where we looked at the accuracy of the data. We provided feedback to the operator. We have seen that between different departments, we may have a different accuracy rate. We may have even the quantity of information feel different, and over time, so we brought everyone up to speed to get information that we rely on to then do the next step, which is the analysis. And on that part, we worked with other plants, or at a global level, we worked with other plants to have an internal solution with daily automated elaborations, so people don't spend the time on working with the data, but getting the information where the deviations are, where the main points of attention are. And this, so we then had a supervisor trained to provide the information to the team, to the local team, and sharing the information. Say, okay, yeah, yesterday we were good on this line, on this other one. If we look at the last, you can see the graph on the bottom part. We have, for instance, okay, the last 12 days, 12 weeks, whatever you want in terms of period, where is the main gap compared to standard, where we should put our attention. And with that, we drive the improvement by defining where we need to look at, and once a week the team review the actions that have been defined to see if we are actually executing over this action and if we get the performances that we were expecting for that. And I would say that beside what the process I just described, one of the key points has been to have defined the schedule as well. So to keep the pace, to have a continuous improvement approach and not just maybe the flavor of the month and you do it for 1 or 2 months and you know that it will disappear. So we said, no, it's something that we'll keep doing. And so we set, so daily, these are the activities that we need, weekly, these are the other ones that we will do and so forth. The next step that we had to work on the gaps was to be sure that we work on the gaps that are mindful for the business. So that's where we have the connection with the Ocean Conway, with the strategy planning, where we have at the corporate level, regional level, for the business unit, and then at the plant level, we have defined what are the 3-year main objectives, and then declined it for the coming year, and defining, therefore, what are the main activities that are very impactful for the business. And from that, so we have the possibility to communicate, which is the first thing with the team, with the local team, and then to have them able to define, okay, if I see 2 deviations, 3 deviations, which are the ones that I will tackle, that I will address, because these are the ones that will make the difference for the company. And then we have monthly follow-up. So the team present at the regional level the results they achieve. They do a selection of the main gaps that they can have for the months and root cause analysis to define eventual countermeasures to get back on track if we fall behind the targets. And these are, here you have some pictures of the lean room where everyone can get in and have this information, understand how we are performing compared to what we have defined to be strategic for the year. So with that process, we were able to have information in real time, elaboration without anyone spending a minute to get the graphs, get the table and the data in any ways. And so we spend our time on changing the situation. And I will just show some 2 examples of actions that have been run. So here you have a Kaizen on reducing the time for changeovers. So it is, I would say, pretty basic because we are talking about a SMED, looking at where we are today and improving the situation, defining then the standard operating procedure, training people and checking where we stand. But the point was that we had the time to do it. And that was the real change compared to the past. And besides having the time, it was done by the people that know the job, so the people doing it. So you can see here we had this improvement facilitator, which is the one sharing the information, one of the supervisor and 8 operators, and they get together. They take the time. So where they were standing, then went through the SMED and went from this 15 minutes or so with a pretty large variability to 9 minutes after the SMED. So that was a pretty good progress that they have done in a short period of time. Another example, which is, I would say, more the technical side, but it's important because that comes out from the fact that we have inline sensor, direct information. We had on one machine slowdown of the line in a very casual way. So it was hard to understand what was happening and where we could have an issue. So one thing that with the data elaboration, that if I can share it, it's here, it was really obvious. It was evident that we had an issue for this line compared to all the other lines where we were on maybe 10 or 15% of the time spent in slow speed. And this one was at 45%. So we knew we had an issue. So same thing, we took people that were working on the line, maintenance coordinator, to analyze the situation. And with the data, they were able, because we know, for instance, for each products that we make, so how the cycle time is split. So they were able to analyze and understand what was the real root cause and have it fixed. And you can see now that it's about 5% of time spent in slow speed. So a real improvement that we would very likely not have been able to do in the past. So that's two examples. And just if I look back and think about what has been the results of these activities, you can see that in terms of improving the performances, we have reduced the times to execute on EHS actions from 4 months to 3 months. We have improved the productivity on each of the steps of the production and getting back to 2021 in some of them and keep improving on the others. And I would say besides this matrix, this indicator of performances, the part of people, the fact that they have been able to develop competencies, to develop their engagement because they feel they own the improvement has been very key. And we have actually improved our attractivity for new people to join the company, because it's not you don't join a company where you will be a mere executor, but you have a part of you can play a part in making the business better. One other aspect which was important especially for the younger people, that they had with the process that we have defined, they had standard they can measure against. So that was helpful for them to understand their performance and to see if they were outperforming, or they had some needs of help, of support to get better. And so in conclusion, before the question that you may have, I would say that the main changes that we had, that we went from a situation where we were really spending our time on elaborating information. So it was really more just counting the things that were done, to having a real continuous improvement process where we were taking actions to change the numbers. And we've done that through this building of processes to get earlier information, leading information, and then training the people to act on this information to be able to get improvements where we were needing to improve, and react where we had a deviation compared to standards. And as I said, all of that was really supported by the fact that we had these follow-ups, daily, weekly, monthly, to ensure that it was part of our way of doing and not just really something that, okay, it will go away in a short period of time. And as I said, it helps us to improve our performances and to be more attractive for people. So with that, I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Okay, is your time for questions? We wait a couple of minutes waiting for you. While you are thinking about the question you may have, I make a question to Christophe. Of course, doing improvement, all people making improvements are learning something. And so how do, as a company, make to let me say, to conserve this learning and to make the learning available for all other people? Because you said that at the beginning, the people are quite new, only with 3-4 years of experience in a company. So it is so important that the knowledge of the company the knowledge of each people inside the company became a knowledge of the company, not only in your plant, but also other plants in Italy and abroad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a very important part to be able to develop this collective know-how instead of having the individual expertise that you are always at risk. So yeah, for that at the plant level, so you've seen one example of standard operating procedure that we have developed. The fact that already that we get the people together to work on the problem so they can share their views and they have the discussion, and so that's already a way to to get different perspective maybe together and get so this building of know-how, and then I said so the standard operating procedures. What we have then more globally, it's still at the regional level, but between Europe and Turkey. So we shared experience on specific topics. So it's not yet we are not yet at a point where we do that proactively on everything. But for instance, we had in the last weeks a few meetings about electricity consumption, and we were comparing. So yeah, you are doing that, you have this kilowatt hours per ton of wire produced. We are there. What can be the difference? And we built on that as well to understand what are the differences between the teams in the different plants.
Okay, thank you, Christophe. I don't see any question coming. Only one comment on my side to you, if other question can come. I was really interested when you said that you find problem in the operation area, but in the same time to decide which is the problem you face first, you connect things to Ocean Cardi. So to what is the main strategy of the company? This is, in my opinion, very important because anytime we have many more problems that the time we have to solve them. And so connecting with the ocean is really important because you make good things, but in the right direction instead of in an opposite direction.
Yes,
So
and we lived it. We really lived that directly, that people were doing things, but I will say that was on the very right side of the Pareto, so not moving anything. And you're saying, hey, no, I've done a good improvement. Yes, but we don't see it. So that's why it was really important to say, okay, if we work on something, what will make a difference? And then so we said, okay, yeah, maybe that's the one topic that you would like to work on it because I don't know, it's something that you resonates with you. But the one thing that will be visible, that will make a difference, is this one. So let's have them clear and not 30, 40 priorities, but a very few well-defined about safety, about quality, about service to customer, about cost. So we know where we need to work. And as you say, time is a constraint. So if we have more time, we can work on other things. But if we have to choose because we have a time limitation, we know where we spend our time.
it's much more important to decide what is the right thing to do instead of to do it instead of make this in a good way. Okay.
Yeah, it was actually even the real thing that take us, I mean, it's about 4, 5, 6 meetings where we have this catchboard process. It's about deciding what we won't do, the things that we decide not to do. That's really the main discussion we have.
And this is the main goal of the leader. Say what is important not to do, but what you should not do because you have no time. Okay, guys. No question are coming. It's early morning here in Europe, so probably we are still sleeping or something. So if you don't have any more, and if you, Christophe, you don't have any more to say, we can close the session here. So thank you to everybody to be with us this morning. And of course, thank you to Christophe to have sharing with us his experience and the experience of his company. So let's go to other session. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.